What's up, fight fans? This is Kurt DeVille with Counterpunch Boxing News, and I have some new news concerning Oleksandr Usyk, Tyson the Gypsy King Fury, and Anthony Joshua. Get this, Oleksandr Usyk coach makes Tyson Fury accusation and points out Anthony Joshua's big error. We do know Anthony Joshua was set to fight Oleksandr Usyk, and Tyson Fury will face Dillian Whyte at Wembley on April 23rd after his bid to set up a world title unification bout with Oleksandr Usyk fell through. The assistant coach of Oleksandr Usyk, however, has taken aim at both Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua after negotiations for the heavyweight world title bout between the Ukrainian and Fury fell through. Usyk, 35, delivered a masterful display at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium last September to outpoint AJ and take all of his titles in the process. The following month, Fury, 33, won his trilogy bout with Deontay Wilder in Las Vegas to retain his WBC crown, seemingly paving the way for an all-British bout with mandatory challenger Dillian Whyte. In the meantime, Joshua immediately triggered his rematch clause with Usyk, with the assumption being the winners of both respective bouts would then meet in a mouth-watering unification bout. However, after negotiations stalled with Whyte, Fury's team then sought to bring the notion forward, offering Joshua a deal to step aside so that the Gypsy King could face Usyk. The Watford man declined the offer, though, and now has been confirmed what Fury and Whyte will go ahead at Wembley. Okay, we know that. So, and now Sergey Lepine, who trains Usyk alongside Papachenko, has accused the Manchester man of verbal garbage at opting out of a unification clash in favor of an easier bout. Quote, Usyk is always ready for a challenger. He was the one that first agreed to hold the unification against Tyson Fury, and I heard that Joshua wasn't against receiving the compensation either to allow the unification, he said to my betting site's blog. But suddenly something went wrong. It seems to me that Tyson Fury and his team chose a much safer option for themselves, a fight with Dillian Whyte. More than 80% of the information coming from Tyson Fury is verbal garbage to attract attention and to promote boxing fights. He also tries to get in their heads of his rivals with his words, as he did Deontay Wilder. But such a story like comparing Usyk to Tomas Adamek will not work with Usyk. Nothing like this will affect Usyk's mentality. Joshua wasn't spared his wrath here, with Lepine embracing the wide-held perception that we would have been better off bidding his time and ensuring he was fully prepared to face Usyk a second time around. Compensation for Joshua to step aside would have been better option for him, as he would have had more time to correct his mistakes and prepare for the fight. He continued, Joshua's a strong guy. He has been boxing for a long time. He has fought some serious opponents. But as far as the rematch goes, Joshua will not learn anything new in 4 months, no matter how many new coaches are there in his camp. Those are the words of Sergey Lepine. Wow. Ooh. So Sergey, first of all, he called Tyson Fury scared and opted out. Second of all, Joshua, him getting other trainers won't help him beat Oleksandr Usyk. Let me counterpunch. With Tyson Fury, as far as he goes, I do think Tyson Fury put more energy into Dillian Whyte than Usyk. I mean, you know, if you blame one thing that happened, and because that one thing happened, another thing didn't happen, that's easier to do besides Dillian Whyte wanting more money of the split. Because it would seem like to me, if Dillian Whyte wanted more money in the split, which he was already entitled to being the WBC interim champion, mind you, Okay, they gave him the lowest of the low. But since he was asking more of the split, you got to ask yourself, at what point would it been acceptable to give AJ more money so you can fight the guy that you claim you want to fight, which is Usyk, rather than deal with Dillian White and that split ordeal? Because changing the split, which didn't happen, okay, by the way, because of the arbitration and all that, right, which they still have an arbitration, but the purse bid and all that went through. When you're dealing with Dillian White and then Usyk and then AJ, if you want to fight a guy bad enough, he would have paid AJ more money, which is a totally different video. But AJ wanted more money than they were willing to give. And like I said before, that was it. And it seemed kind of strange to me because I'm like, okay, well, there was no other outside negotiations. Like none that took place. Like, okay, no, we want to give you 15 million pounds. If you want 20, okay, well, wait, how about 17.5? It wasn't anything like that. It was Tyson Fury saying, you know what, forget it, screw you, we're going to go another route. Well, what makes you think what made Tyson Fury that angry? Was it because of AJ really asking for too much money? You know what I mean? Because you ask yourself, if you're giving him 15 and he wanted 20, how much more money really is that? You know what I mean? It would be different if he asked for 30. That would be kind of off the rocker, but because that's twice as much. But 5 more million pounds compared to what you already were going to give him. And everybody knows the rule of business. You never accept the first offer that someone gives you. So it is strange to me that Tyson Fury did opt to just trash that whole idea. Okay, so I do understand the logic of what Lepine is saying. Like, hey, well, you thought it would be better to fight White rather than to fight Usyk. You know, so it's crazy because if you look at it, also, AJ, him going from trainer to trainer, I think can only be confusing. Okay, so that, you know, so for what he's learning, will he learn new things? Yeah, I'm seeing progress, but it's like, for one, he's showing too much of this shit, for one. I mean, I like the progress, but it's certain things you should keep, you know, under your hat. And I don't think he's doing that unless it's just a decoy, which would be spectacular, but we'll see on the day. So, but then if you're going Virgil Hunter, Ronnie Shields, Anthony Chill Wilson, other trainers that you're going here, you're jumping there, and you're doing this and you're doing that, you only get confused at the end of the day. I think it's just too many people, too many ideas, and I think with too many ideas, too many chiefs, not enough Indians, things really don't get done. So will he learn what he needs to learn to fight Usyk? I think maybe, possibly, it will just confuse him. You know, because he has all this stuff in his head. He has all these new ideas like, hey, yeah, I could do it like this. Or you know what, I could do it like that. Instead of following a game plan, you know. Serious amounts of ideas flying at you. That's not a game plan. That's just so many people talking to you and giving you their opinions on how you do these certain things. Now, can he put them all together? Well, that remains to be seen. Who knows? You know, we'll have to see on the day. But Lepine went ham on both Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua. You know, but it does make you wonder, like, okay, you revisit Dillian White and, you know what I mean? And then you don't fight Usyk. And then, like they said, Tyson Fury wanted an interim fight, or a tune-up fight. So you wanted a tune-up fight to get you prepared. Okay, that's a bad sign. 2, you knew giving AJ that amount of money, what he asked for, would then open the door for you to actually fight Usyk. That's 2, and then you didn't want to do that. So you have to ask yourself, was it really because of the money, or was it really because he didn't want to fight Usyk? Maybe he was just cheap, you know, because Tyson Fury, you know, he didn't want to give step-aside money to Deontay Wilder either. and I heard back and forth shits because we don't really know what happened with that particular situation. But there was talks of Deontay Wilder getting offered like 30 million or something like that to step aside to allow AJ to fight Tyson Fury, right? So I don't know. It's the accusations are there. You guys tell me what you think of Sergey Lepine's accusations towards both Anthony Joshua and Tyson the Gypsy King Fury. Of course, please subscribe. And you guys been Counterpunch. Peace.